this assignment activity, I read two articles titled Principles of Accessible Design and Designing Online Opportunities for Students with Disabilities, and they were both very insightful and affirming. First, the articles presented accessibility concepts that were new to me. I didn't realize that 1 in 4 adults have a form of disability, although not all of the disabilities impact the ability to access the internet. But for those whose disability does impact them from accessing the internet, tools need to be in place to create that equal access. I've always known the main categories of disabilities were visual, auditory, motor, and cognitive, but I didn't know that cognitive disability was the category with the least focus when implementing accessibility for those with disabilities. The importance of creating equal access for technology-based content is important, as I learned that there is a 100% growth rate in online education in most states, and many students with disabilities find this format of online learning viable for meeting their needs. What was also new to me was the UDL framework. This is the first time our district has adopted a textbook that comes with a UDL framework that teachers can access to guide and align their planning purposes with the individual needs of their students. What I also learned and appreciated was the discussion of the UDL scan tool that provides a series of questions that can be asked to check for observable features within the content that uphold accessibility requirements for the content being accessible for all students. Second, from these articles, I found that the various adaptive tools for making content accessible were very important for teachers to know about and implement should a student need a particular tool to access the content. These tools include, but are not limited to, screen reader software to read the content out loud for students, a mouth wand for students without motor abilities to be able to interact online content, alternative types of keyboards that are available, and eye tracking software. I also found the principles of accessible design for online content are also important, including but not limited to providing alternative text such as speak to read content, creating logical document structures through headings and fonts, including transcripts for media, and avoiding inclusions of links that say like next or click here, to name just a few. I also think it's important for teachers to be familiar with the laws and standards such as WCAG Section 508 and EPUB, which provides the guidelines for publishing companies to make their content accessible. Lastly, the articles provided several practices which I would draw from. I would draw from both the new and important practices statements that I made earlier in my talk, and specifically the practices for accessible design. I will be learning how to use Speak to make texts available to my visually challenged learners, along with inclusion of transcripts of video and other media for my hearing challenged students. I will also be creating documents that avoid color, but that contain clear fonts and headings.